What's up, YouTube? Back for another update. I know it's been a long time, as usual, with me here lately, but I haven't forgot. I got a couple things going on. Growing a few plants, not as much as I'd like to, not near the space that I used to have. For those of you that watched before, had a lot of space, had pretty much free reign to do and grow as much or as many as I wanted. And now I'm very limited. I wanted to explain a little bit. I'm absent most of the time because my work schedule is insane. It's not that I don't enjoy doing this anymore. I just don't have the time that I used to. But I do have some cool stuff that I'm growing. I don't have any crazy designer varieties of peppers right now. I've got stuff most of you are probably very familiar with, but it's still fun for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Doing something a little bit different. I'm trying out my first Kratky hydroponics. Not working bad. For just sitting in a windowsill, it's really blowing my mind. No grow lights or anything. And I planned on showing you guys that later on in this video, and I'm also going to walk through the hydroponic nutrients that I'm using. Kind of give you my rundown, what I think, pros, cons, goods, bads, some tweaking issues that I've had with it. How their growth chart compares to my results and stuff that I've experienced with them in the past. Alright, so let's go outside and look at the plants. Okay, so here we have the front porch lineup. I think the last time you guys saw these plants, they were little bitty seedlings in the windowsill of my office still. So I'll start down here at the end with some of the older ones that sprouted first. Got a giant ghost from White Hot Peppers. In the description on this it says he doesn't know how quote-unquote giant it is, but definitely a producer. Red variety. Got an ahi mango that I've aggressively topped. Recovered like a champ. This one is a mystery cross from White Hot Peppers. This is number 6. If I remember correctly, this thing's super gnarly, crazy hot from the description. So what I got here is another mystery cross from White Hot Peppers. This is number 30. And I honestly don't know what this one looks like. If you want to see it, go to whitehotpeppers.com and search for that right there. Here's another one from White Hot Peppers. Andy's Chocolate Reaper / Scorpion. It's supposed to be pretty crazy. And get ready for a lot of these. I started a bunch and they all came up. Red Reapers, if y'all remember a couple seasons ago I had one with a giant tail. These are all seeds from that plant. Here's another one, fresh topping, waiting on it to come back. Here is the number 1 unknown cross from White Hot Peppers, featuring a fly. It's a 7-pot bubblegum times Naga. You guys seen the video I did on this one? Those are from that pod, so these ought to be fun. Here's a Joe's Long Cayenne. Thought it was a little different. Here's a graveyard of what used to be a number 30 from White Hot Peppers. Didn't harden it off properly and it died. Alright, well I'm going to take you guys back inside, show you that Kratky grow I got going on, and we will discuss some nutrients. Alright, as promised. Here she is. This is a Carolina Reaper from the same bag of seeds I collected from that ultra gnarly Reaper I was talking about earlier in this video. It's done exponentially well. I'll show you guys the roots. This is my first attempt at a Kratky grow, and honestly I have to say I'm a fan. It is one of the easiest, one of the cheapest things that I've ever gotten into with growing. All you really need is your nutrients and some net cups. I think you could even do it without the rock wool, the pebbles, if you wanted to. But it's just relatively the cheapest way you can go. A koozie on the bottom, and cut the top out of a Gatorade bottle, and you're ready to go. And the crazy part about all this, the cracky thing is, your container size is never limited. Whatever you have that you can use, whether it be designed for hydroponics or it just be recycled plastic material, some sort of container. I mean, it could be endless. I've seen people use storage totes, and the thing be full of roots. So you can imagine something this size not being very old. This one's never been topped though, but it's growing like crazy. Turn this sound off. Alright, so the first thing I want to address when you're getting into hydroponic nutrients like we're about to is that a lot of people will talk about pH. For the longest time, I'd mix them, you know, using the double cup thing. Just letting my roots sit in the bottom, and I'd mix nutrients and put in there, and never really worried about the pH. But I got curious. I've tried it out. In my straight up opinion, I can't tell the difference between my unpH'd water, which is around 8.6 on a normal day. And I've been pHing my nutrients down to between 5.5 and 6.5, and it's not really showing a huge difference to me. It may later. It may produce well in the longevity of my plants. But I did relatively cheaply buy a pH meter from Amazon. It's like 12 bucks. And if you have Prime, your shipping's always free, 2 days, sometimes 1 day. Or if you live in a bigger city, the same day. So it's pretty straightforward. 2 buttons, on, off, and calibrate with a digital screen. Take that off. You have your little electrode in there, a little bulb. It's really important to, in the instructions it says it's really important to always clean this with distilled water and keep it dry. But it's relatively easy to use. Comes with 3 packs of buffer solution, and they suggest you calibrate whenever you do get your new meter. It's pretty easy to do. You mix up the powder in 3 different containers. Put your meter in there, hold down calibrate for 5 seconds, screen will flash, and then you move on to the next level of acidity or basic water. Okay, so the newest thing I've started using, which I didn't think was a big deal, but it's helped with the growth along with the feeding schedule they're on, is CalMag. I never mixed that before. And doing a lot of reading, I can't explain the exact scientific facts behind it, but allegedly, this CalMag, not this one in particular, but CalMag in general, this is just the one that I've been using. Amazon again, there's the cheapest one, just something to try out. But coming back to it, CalMag is allegedly what most people are saying is supposed to be the first thing that goes in the solution. And I did it like that this time, and I've done it as the last thing in the solution. I can't tell a big difference right now. Maybe somebody else has had a different experience with it. If so, I'd like to know, because it's still interesting to me that I know there's a science behind it. It has something to do with the bonding of the molecules within the nutrients themselves. But anyways, I use that first. I guess I should say this. For this plant, I mixed according to I'm using General Hydroponics Flora Series, as most of you have seen around YouTube. I'm using the aggressive vegetative growth feed chart here, which is 2 teaspoons of this per gallon. Micro always goes in first. In this sake of argument, this goes first, micro second, and following further in the aggressive vegetative growth, the Flora Grow gets 3 teaspoons per gallon, And the final one in the Flora series is the Bloom, and this one just gets one. If you're trying to promote aggressive vegetative growth, then you're not too worried about flowers, you're not too worried about fruits. You're just trying to pump your plant up as much as you can to get it stronger, get it wider, thicker, and do the things that, and be able to hold all the hopeful potential fruits and flowers I could have in the future. And the last thing, this came with when I ordered the Flora Grow, small bottle, little 30 milliliter of their Floralicious Plus. I'd never seen this. It is branded by them as a super concentrated enhancer. The NPK on it is 2, 0.8, and 0.2. Yeah, it's very heavily concentrated stuff. As far as directions, this is some pretty strong stuff from what I'm reading here. They want 1 teaspoon, or suggest 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons. And unless you're doing hydroponics on a big scale, or relatively big scale, most of us are just mixing a gallon at a time. Why? For me, it's because it's easy to follow the measurements and I don't have to convert anything, I don't have to change anything over. And I'm still on a small scale. Maybe one day I'll do more, but for now, I think for the aggressive growth, I decided that two drops would be enough for a gallon, and it turned the solution just dark because it's like it looks like black ink is what it looks like going into the water. But that's about all I have for today. Any future suggestions, throw them in the comments. I'm doing what I can. This is a good weekend for me, not a whole lot going on. But until next time, try and keep you guys updated. Thanks.